This is Fitness Blender's Kickboxing and Abs Workout. In this workout, we're going to be starting off with a quick cardio warm-up, followed by 2 different rounds of kickboxing, and we're going to separate those 2 with a round of core exercises. Now the kickboxing portion is going to be our typical 2 rounds slow to get you used to the motion, and then we're going to be doing 10 repetitions fast to really wear you out. Alright, let's go and get ready for our torture. Starting off with our cardio warm-up, we're going to be doing each one of these exercises for 30 seconds each. Starting off with torso circles. Starting down in the center, you can make a nice big circle around to the left, back behind you, off to the right, back down the center, pause it, then bring it back around the opposite direction. Just keep alternating back and forth, trying to get as much rotation out of that torso as you can, trying to get a really good stretch as you go around, really open up those hips as well as that lower back and those abdominal muscles, getting everything stretched out and ready to go for this cardio routine. And we've got just about 10 seconds left till we switch to our next stretch. Next one's going to be arm circles, alternating back and forth for each side. And switch it. Go and stand up nice and straight and tall. One arm going forward while the other one's going back. Just keep those arms nice and big. Try to get as much rotation, as much of a circle on that arm as you can. Really open up that shoulder joint. Start getting those shoulders nice and warm, as well as a little bit into that neck, that chest, and that upper back. Keep those arms moving relatively quickly, but make sure they're under control. We have just a few seconds left until we switch directions. And go ahead and switch directions. Now rotating those arms back in the opposite direction, still trying to get a really nice big circle on that shoulder, warming up that shoulder joint. Again, you want to feel a little bit in your chest, your neck, and that upper back as well. Just keep it going under control, smooth motions, but still keeping that pace relatively quick. And we've got just about 10 seconds left till we switch to our next stretch. Our next one's going to be a squat plus a pull motion, a push-pull motion with those arms. And switch it. Nice deep squat, pulling those arms back, then press them forward as you come back up from that squat. Nice full range of motion with those shoulders. Try to stretch it forward at the top, pulling those shoulders back at the bottom. Getting a nice deep squat every single time, warming up those knees, warming up those hips. Making sure you're getting a really good range of motion in those shoulders as well. And we're just under 10 seconds to switch to the next one. Our next exercise is going to be a knee-up rotation, kind of a standing crisscross crunch. And start it up. That left elbow comes down to that right knee, right elbow down to that left knee. Just keep alternating back and forth, rotating those shoulders, crunching forward, warming up those obliques, those abs, those hip flexors, and a little bit into that lower back, just stretching that lower back out a little bit, getting a good rotation on those shoulders every single time. And we're just over 5 seconds until we switch to that next exercise, which is going to be an oblique rocker. And let's go ahead and switch that exercise, that oblique rocker. You're going to be moving left to right, just rocking back and forth left to right. You can bring that left elbow to that left knee, that right elbow to that right knee, getting an extra rock left to right in between each time you lift those knees. Just keep that motion going, getting a really nice high pull with that knee to warm up that hip flexor, open up that hip a little bit more, as well as a nice tight crunch with that oblique, pulling that shoulder down to that hip nice and tight, really warming those muscles up. I've got just a little over 5 seconds before we switch to our next exercise, which is going to be ventral jacks. Those arms are going to be coming straight up in front of your body. And go ahead and switch it. As those legs go out really nice and quick, those hands are going to snap up above your head. Keep that shoulder joint really nice and solid. As you bring those arms back down, those feet are going to snap back together. Just keep this motion really nice and quick. Really start pushing that heart rate up a little bit more, trying to get that core temperature up a little bit more, trying to get that body ready for our first round of cardio kickboxing. And again, just under 10 seconds to go till we switch to our next exercise. This next one's going to be a toe touch kick, alternating back and forth between left and right leg. And go ahead and switch it, kicking that leg up there so that left hand's going to go down to that right foot, that right hand's going to go down to that left foot, just alternating back and forth, trying to keep that leg as straight as you can, bending over forward, trying to reach down to touch that toe. Don't worry if you can't quite get that toe, just try to go as far as you can, as far as is comfortable. Don't try to overdo it by bending that knee or rounding that back more than is comfortable. Just keep this motion going under control, nice controlled kick. We're moving on to the front jacks next. And go ahead and switch it. Those arms are going to come straight in front of that chest like you're clapping those hands. Every time those hands come together, those feet are going to come together. Every time those hands go apart, those feet go apart. Keep that shoulder socket really nice and tight. Get that cardio going, get that heart rate up, get that core temperature up. We just have a couple more exercises to go until we're done with our warm-up. Got just about 10 seconds left till we switch to the next exercise. Our next one is going to be high knees. Get that cardio level up really nice and quick. And go ahead and switch it. Drive those knees, really push that cardio. You want to get those feet moving as quickly as you can. Really driving those knees up nice and high. You want to get that knee to at least hip height, higher if you can. You're trying to get yourself as tired as possible here. We only have one more exercise to go after this one. So we want to make sure that cardio is really nice and high, that heart rate is up nice and high, and that core temperature is up really nice and high before we start into this kickboxing routine. And we got just about 5 seconds left until we move to our next exercise, jumping jacks. This is our last one. And start it up. Get those arms and legs moving nice and quick. This is our last exercise through, so we're doing this for a full minute rather than 30 seconds. So we've got a full minute of these jumping jacks. And you want to make sure you're keeping everything really nice and solid, nice clean form. You never want to just swing those arms around. You want to keep that shoulder joint really nice and solid. You want to keep that bicep and tricep contracted the entire time, making sure you're getting a good clean form, good clean range of motion without just swinging those arms around. And that's halfway right there. We got another 30 seconds to go until we're done. Just keep it going, nice solid form. Remember, this is your last exercise, so really push yourself. Get that heart rate up there really nice and high. You definitely want to be breaking a sweat by the time you're done with this if you're not already. Just 10 seconds till we're done. Pick up the pace a little bit if you can. Just a few seconds left. And let it relax. Nicely done. All right, this is the end of our warm-up. That means we're moving on to our first round of kickboxing. Remember, we're going to be doing 2 slow motion demos, and then we're going to do 10 full speed repetitions. Let's go ahead and get started with our first round. We're going to be doing 2 jabs plus a cross. Remember, we're going to be doing 2 slow ones first. It's going to be jab, jab, cross. Jab, jab, cross. All right, 10 fast ones. Push as hard as you possibly can. Remember, don't go to a full extension on that arm. You want to keep just a little bit of a bend in that elbow as to not hyperextend that arm. But you want to move as quick as you can, pushing and pulling that punch the entire time. And that was our last one right there. Let's go and switch sides. Start again slow. Jab, jab, cross. Jab, jab, cross. All right, 10 fast. Pound them out. Now, while you're doing these, make sure, like I said before, you're pushing as hard as you possibly can the entire time. Try to stay up on the ball of your foot as much as you can. Make those legs have to work the entire time, even though this is mostly driven from that upper body. You want to try to keep everything contracted to burn as many calories as possible. All right, we're going to switch over to the next one, which is going to be 2 hooks and 2 uppercuts. Remember, 2 slow first. Hook, hook, uppercut, uppercut. One more. Hook, hook, uppercut, uppercut, and now you've got your 10 fast ones. Push it as hard as you can. Really get that heart rate up there. Make sure you're pounding as hard as you possibly can. Get as many calories burnt as possible. Get that heart rate up really nice and high. And there's your last one right here. And switch sides. Do the same thing on the other side. So 2 slow. Hook, hook, uppercut, uppercut. Make sure you're leading with that opposite leg. Make sure you're leading with that opposite arm. And speed it up. You got 10 repetitions fast. And just 2 left to go. 1 more. And let it relax. All right, let's go and move on to our next progression, which is going to be 2 crosses, a jab, and an uppercut. 2 crosses, 1 jab, 1 uppercut. 1 more slow one. And 10 fast. Move them as quick as you can. Really burn it out. Now, when you throw that uppercut, make sure you really rotate those shoulders into it. Make those obliques have to work as hard as possible. Really, really good, a good rotation, pushing as much effort into it as you can. And just 2 more. Last one. And switch sides. So same exact thing, just leading with that opposite arm, opposite leg. 2 crosses, 1 jab, 1 uppercut. You got 1 more slow. And start them up 10 fast, as hard as you can. And just 2 more to go. Last one, push through. And let it relax. All right, let's go and move on to our next one, which is going to be 2 jabs plus 2 elbows. Jab, jab, elbow, elbow. So keep that fist tucked in. Jab, jab, elbow, elbow. All right, 10 fast. All right, you know how to throw a jab, but when you throw that elbow, make sure you're rotating that shoulder into it as much as you can. Really put your weight behind it. Yank that elbow back just as quick as you push it forward to get into that next throw. You want to move as quick as you can, pushing 100%, keeping everything nice and tight. And just 2 more to go. Last one. And let it relax. We're going to switch sides. Same thing on the other side. 2 jabs. 1, 2, and 2 elbows. All right, 1 more slow. Now 10 fast. Keep every muscle in your body nice and tight and push into it 100%. Just 2 more. And that is it. Go ahead and let it relax. We're going to move on to our next one, which is going to be 3 hooks and 2 uppercuts. Hook, 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 uppercut, uppercut. Again. All right, now you got 10 fast. Pound through them as hard as you can. Get that heart up nice and high, 100%. And just 2 more to go. 1 more. And let it relax. All right, switch over to the other side, leading with that opposite leg this time. Another slow one. 3 hooks. 2 uppercuts. 1 more slow one. And start them up. 10 repetitions as fast as you possibly can, pushing it 100%, keeping everything nice and tight. Burn those calories. Just 2 more to go. Just 1 left. Push as hard as you can. I know you're getting tired. And let it relax. Nicely done. All right, we're going to switch over. This is our last exercise of this portion. We're doing a longer one. It's going to be a jab cross, 2 uppercuts, and a jab hook. So jab cross, 2 uppercuts, and a jab hook. 1 more time slow. Jab cross, 2 uppercuts, jab, and a hook. All right, now we got 10 fast. Push through it. Now make sure you're working yourself as hard as you possibly can. Keep all those muscles really nice and tight. This is your last round to really work yourself, so make sure you're pushing as hard as you can, burning as many calories as possible. Get that heart up like crazy. You should be huffing and puffing, barely able to throw a punch by the time you're done. And just 2 more to go. Last one. Nice. All right, now we're going to switch sides. We got another round on the other side. Then we're going to be finished. So jab, cross, uppercut, uppercut, jab, hook. One more time slow. Jab, cross, uppercut, uppercut, jab, hook. All right, 10 fast. Pound them out. Push as hard as you can. I know you're really, really tired, but push as hard as you can to get this thing done and burn as many calories as you can. All right, just 2 more to go. Push it through. 1 more as hard as you can. And let it relax. All right, nicely done. That is round 1 of our kickboxing routine finished. We'll be starting into our ab work here in just a few seconds. All right, let's go and get started with our ab workout routine. If you have a mat handy, go ahead and grab that. Otherwise, just drop down on the ground. We're doing a plank with a knee up first. 14 repetitions just with that right leg first. Tucking that knee up and out to the side as wide as you can, as high as possible. This is a relatively quick motion, but still try to make sure you're keeping all those muscles nice and tight, especially those abs and that leg. All right, go ahead and let that one relax. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Nice quick motion. Keep a nice straight line from your shoulder all the way down to your ankle, driving that knee as high up as you can, up and out to the side. And go ahead and let that one relax. We're going to move on to our next exercise, which is going to be a Russian twist. So sit down on that tailbone, kick those legs out, keep them nice and close together, those hands straight in front of that chest, rotating those shoulders left to right. Nice full range of motion, but make sure you're keeping that back perfectly flat. There shouldn't be any round in that back whatsoever. And just 2 more on each side. And let it relax. All right, go ahead and sit back up. We're moving to our next one, the side hip raise. So go ahead and go onto your left side first. Up on your feet and that left elbow. Start by hovering that hip just about an inch or so off the ground, then shove it up as high as you possibly can. Bring that left shoulder down towards that left hip, getting a nice tight contraction on your left oblique. Then drop that hip back down just a few inches off the ground, barely hover it off the ground, then press it right back up again. Just 2 more. And let it relax. All right, let's go and switch sides. Same thing on the other side. So out on that right elbow and that right foot. Get those hips hovering just a little bit off the ground. And press them up nice and high. Bring that right shoulder down towards that right hip. Get a nice tight squeeze on the oblique on that bottom side, that right side of your body. Just keep that motion going. Nice, big, full range of motion. And just 2 left. And let it relax. All right, nicely done. Let's go and move on to our next one, which is going to be a knee tuck crunch. Sitting on that tailbone again. You can start with those hands on the ground just next to those hips. Extend those legs out, lean that chest back, and then tuck those shoulders down towards those knees as you pull those knees in up towards those shoulders as tight as you can. Now, the harder version, as I'm doing here, you can actually bring those hands up off the ground. It makes it a little bit harder for balance, so you're going to be wobbling around a little bit more. It makes those abs have to work a lot harder. And just 2 more. And let it relax. All right, go ahead and flip over onto your stomach. We're going to be doing a prone chest raise next. So facing flat down towards the ground. Keep that head facing down towards the ground. Hands behind your head to begin with. Arch that back up really nice and high. Get that chest up off the ground as high as possible. If you want the next hardest version, extend those arms out like I'm doing here. Just get a full extension. Just change that leverage just a little bit. And just 2 more repetitions. And let it relax. Nicely done. All right, go ahead and move over onto your left side again. We're going to be doing a side oblique crunch with leg raise. Your left hand out in front of you about a 45, right hand on top of that thigh. Bring those legs up as high as you can, crunching that shoulder down towards that hip. Nice tight squeeze on that oblique on the top side this time. That right side's going to be doing the work on this one. Just keep that motion going. As much range of motion as you can, trying to keep those hips and those shoulders tilted forward. Just 2 more. And switch sides. Flip it over so you're on your right side. We're working that left oblique this time. So that right arm out at about a 45-degree angle, that left hand up on top of that thigh. Bring those legs up, crunching that shoulder down towards those hips, getting those shoulders up off the ground as well. Remember, try to push that range of motion as much as you can. Nice tight squeeze at the top of that range of motion. Almost done, just 2 repetitions left. And let it relax, nicely done. All right, let's go and flip over. We're doing a rotating toe touch crunch next, so flat on your back, legs straight up above those hips, hands right above that chest. Bring that left hand out to the outside of that right foot, and that right hand to the outside of that left foot, just rotating back and forth with those shoulders, trying to get both those shoulder blades up off the ground as high as you can, but getting a good rotation reaching across the outside of that foot each time. Just keep alternating back and forth, nice tight squeeze at the top. And just 1 more on each side. And that is it. Go ahead and let it relax. That is the last exercise for our ab routine, so that means we're moving back to round 2 of kickboxing. Now this one's going to be a little bit different. We're actually going to start incorporating some leg motions into this one. So let's go ahead and get started with our first round, which is going to be a jab, a cross, and 2 knees. So jab, cross, knee, knee. 1 more slow. Jab, cross, knee, and knee. All right, 10 repetitions fast, pound it out. Now I know your body's getting really tired at this point, but make sure you keep pushing as hard as you possibly can. The harder you push when you're starting to get tired means the more fat calories you're going to be burning. So make sure you're pushing through this 100% the entire time. And just 2 more to go. Last one. And let it relax. All right, nicely done. Switch sides. Same thing over again. Jab, cross, knee, knee. 1 more slow. Jab, cross, knee, knee. All right, 10 repetitions fast. Keep pushing through it. And just 2 more to go. It's your last one right here. And nicely done. Go ahead and let it relax for just a second. We're going to be moving on to our next, which is going to be a front kick and a knee twice through. So front kick, knee, front kick, knee. That's 1 round. Let's do 1 more slow. Front kick, knee, front kick, knee. That's 2 slow. Now let's do 10 fast. Now because you're so tired, it's going to be really hard to control those legs, but try as best you can. Just like with those arms, don't go to a full extension. You want to just go to almost a full extension, a little bit of a bend in that knee, as hard as you possibly can, then yank that leg back, getting ready to do that next motion. Just keep it going as hard as possible. Keep everything nice and tight. You just got 2 more to go. And 1 more. There you go. Let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and switch sides. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So a front kick and a knee. Front kick, knee. 1 more slow. Front kick, knee. Front kick, knee. Very good. All right, let's do 10 fast. And there's your last 2. 1 more repetition. And let it relax. Very good. All right, let's go and move on to our next progression, which is going to be 2 jabs, 2 uppercuts, and 2 knees. 1 more slow. Jab, jab, uppercut, uppercut, knee, and knee. Very good. 10 fast. Push as hard as you can. I know those arms and legs are getting tired, but try to keep it as solid as you can the entire time. Keep that intensity up. You want to make sure you burn as many calories as you can. Really make this workout count, so don't let up. And just 2 more to go. Nice, 1 left. And let it relax. All right, very good. We need to switch sides, do the same thing, facing the other direction. Start with those 2 slow. 1 more slow one. 2 jabs, 2 uppercuts, 2 knees. All right, 10 fast. Pound them out. And we are almost done. Just 2 more repetitions. Last one right here. And let it relax. Nicely done. Let's move to our next one, which is going to be 2 side kicks, 4 body punches, and 2 jab cross combinations. All right, 1 more slow. Side kick, 4 body punches, jab cross, jab cross. All right, 10 repetitions fast. Push through it as hard as you can. I know there's a lot to remember. Try to make sure you're going as quick as you can. Nice clean form as best as possible. I know those legs aren't going to really want to respond to you. Those arms are getting tired. They're going to start feeling like lead weights. But keep pushing through it. Burn those calories. Make sure you're getting the most out of this workout as you can. Doing good. Just 2 more repetitions. Good. 1 left. And let it relax. Very good. We're going to switch sides. Same exact thing. So 2 side kicks, 4 body punches, and 2 jab cross combinations. All right, 1 more. 4 body punches, jab cross, jab cross. All right, we got 10 repetitions fast. Pound through it as hard as you possibly can. Just 2 more. Keep it going. Very good. 1 left. Pound through this. And let it relax. Nicely done. All right, let's move on to our next one. It's going to be 4 knees, 2 uppercuts, and 2 hooks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 uppercuts, 2 hooks. Very good. 1 more time slow. All right, we got 10 fast. Start them up. This is your last combination of this routine, so make sure you're pushing yourself as hard as you can. Don't leave anything behind. The only thing we have left after this is the cool down. So push through it. Really throw those knees. Really throw those punches. Make sure everything is as hard as you possibly can, keeping every single one of those muscles contracted the entire time, getting as much range of motion as possible. Nicely done. We have 2 more to go. Keep it going. 1 left. Nice, very good. Switch sides. We got 2 slow ones first. Let's do our 4 knees. 2 uppercuts. 2 hooks. Very good. 1 more slow. 4 knees. 2 uppercuts. 2 hooks. Now we only have 10 repetitions left until we get to that cooldown, so make sure you get through this as hard as you can, 100%, pushing as hard as possible the entire way. And that is halfway right there. You only have 5 left to go. Push through this as hard as you can. Drive that knee. Throw those punches as hard as you can. Make sure you're pushing 100% into this. All those muscles nice and contracted. I know you're breathing heavy like crazy. You're sweating like crazy, and you're probably about to die. But try to push through this as hard as you possibly can. Burn those calories. You are almost done with this. Just 2 more repetitions. Very good. 1 more to go. Keep it going. 100%. And let it relax. Nicely done. That was it. Now we get to move on to that cooldown. We've got 10 different stretches to go through, and we'll be holding each one of these for 15 seconds. Alright, let's go and start off with our cooldown. We're starting standing, kicking that right leg over top of that left for that hamstring stretch. Just stretch it down, try to get those fingertips as close to the ground as you can. Breathing normally, keep those lungs open. And switch sides. Go and turn it around. Opposite leg goes over, so that left leg's going to go over top of that right. Stretching it down towards those toes again. Keeping those lungs open. And let it relax. Go and stand back up. We've got our inside thigh stretch next, so those feet go nice and wide apart, about twice to 3 times shoulder width apart. Extend that right leg out, keep that right leg straight, lean towards that right leg so you feel a stretch in the inside thigh of that right leg, and try to drop that right hip to get a little bit more of that stretch. Alright, we're going to switch sides, so bend that right knee, straighten that left leg, leaning towards that left leg, dropping that left hip. Like I said before, you should be feeling a stretch in the inside of that left thigh. And go ahead and let that one relax. Come back to the center. Keep both those legs out nice and wide. Stretch down to the middle, trying to get as close to the ground as you possibly can with those elbows, rounding that lower back as well as stretching through those hamstrings. Just make sure you're keeping those legs nice and straight. And let that one relax. Go ahead and stand it back up nice and straight. We're going to do a quadricep stretch next. So kick that right foot back into that right hand. You can lean up against the wall for balance if you need to. Just squeezing that heel to your butt, pulling that knee back behind you, getting a good stretch to the front of that thigh. And go ahead and switch sides. Go ahead and grab that left foot with that left hand, squeezing that heel to your butt as close as is comfortable, pulling that knee back behind you, getting a good stretch across the front of that quadricep, that hip flexor, and maybe even a little bit into those lower abs. And let it relax. We're going to go ahead and switch. Doing a wall chest stretch next, that right hand on that wall, tilting away from that hand as much as you can, pulling that shoulder back towards that hand behind you. Get a good stretch for that chest. If you're feeling it more in your bicep than your chest, and just roll that arm a little bit until that bicep starts to loosen up. And go ahead and switch sides, bring that left hand up against that wall, fingers facing back behind you, tilt that chest the opposite direction, really stretching that chest open. Try to keep those lungs open, just breathing normally. Constantly holding a consistent amount of that stretch. And go ahead and let that one relax. We'll move on to our next one, which is an arm cross pull. So grab that elbow, pull that arm across in front of your chest. Should feel a little bit of stretch to the back of that shoulder, right across that shoulder blade. Just keep a nice consistent stretch. And go ahead and switch sides. Bring that right arm across in front of your chest, grabbing that elbow again, pulling it across. Now, if you have a particularly limber shoulder, you might not feel this stretch much at all, whereas other people might feel a stretch quite a bit. It's all individual. Almost done. And go ahead and let that one relax. We're moving on to an overhead tricep stretch next. Reach back with that left hand towards that left shoulder, stretching that elbow across behind your head, then lean across with it to get a little extra torso stretch in there. Stretch out those obliques a little bit. And switch sides, same thing on the other side. Right hand back to that right shoulder to stretch that tricep, and then lean away from that right foot to try to get that oblique to stretch. And go ahead and let that one relax. We're doing a downward facing dog, so hands out in front of you, right underneath those shoulders. Try to get a nice straight line from those hips down to that wrist, from that hip down to that ankle. Trying to press those heels down into the ground as best you can. Nice straight leg, nice straight arm. Chest down towards those feet. And let it relax. We're going down into a cobra, so lay flat down on your stomach. Arch that chest up with those hands down by the base of that rib cage. Arching it up as high as you can, as high as is comfortable, breathing normally. And go ahead and let that relax, sitting back into those heels. It's our last stretch, a child's pose. Just let that back stretch out, let that chest stretch out. Moving those hands away from you as far as is comfortable. Getting a good stretch to those arms and that back. Almost done. And let it relax. Nicely done. All right, this workout is complete. You just finished Fitness Blender's Kickboxing and Abs workout.